All right, Nathan, so I've got my bottle of vodka and my copy of Halloween 6.
So you want to talk trash about trash?
Not really, but I guess we have to. Last time on Trash Video, Nathan, we were talking about unmade Halloween sequels, and we got up to around Halloween 5. So I thought it would be worthwhile for us to talk about, the next film in the series, probably the best one, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. What are your thoughts on this movie, Nathan?
I wouldn't say it's the best one, but which cut are you talking about? Producer's cut? The director's cut? Paul Rudd's cut?
Oh, yeah. Oh, this was the big debut of Ant-Man himself, Paul Rudd.
My character, Tommy, comes from the first film, and Jamie Lee Curtis was babysitting this little kid.
So Halloween 6 had an infamously troubled production. The fifth film had introduced a lot of random plot threads that had to be concluded, and nobody had any idea on how to do this. Which is why there are so many different versions, but honestly, none of them are very good.
Yeah, it's like, well, that dog turd's better than that dog turd. Really?
So for those of you who haven't seen Halloween 6, the big gist of the film is they try and explain why Michael Myers is Michael Myers, why he's this kind of almost supernatural entity. And essentially what they did is what, Nathan? They said it's some kind of strange curse?
A weird curse, a cult is involved.
Yeah, and it's all about Michael having to get his own niece pregnant
and you're
or
like,
something.
Wow, okay, these are slasher movies that were, pretty violent and that, but it's like, oh, that's just gross.
Interesting. Turns out, I draw the line at incest.
That being said, this script was allegedly the pick of the litter, because it wasn't the only script that was written for Halloween 6. So there was actually a script called Halloween 666, The Origin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. I love the title. In this one, Michael is homeless 5 years after his rampage in number 5. And a reporter comes to Haddonfield to write a story on all the stuff that has happened over the years. And Tommy Doyle would have helped her. And Tommy Doyle does end up in Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. That's actually who Paul Rudd plays.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of weird stuff going on in this script. So Dr. Loomis would have featured, but not in a main role. He would have had a cameo as an inpatient at his former asylum, so his former workplace.
Oh, okay.
And he actually passes the torch to Tommy. So he kind of goes, all that stuff with Michael, you need to hunt him, Tommy. You need to hunt him. And I'm like, Tommy's not a medical professional.
No, Tommy's was a traumatized child, now a traumatized adult.
Yeah. I like to actually imagine that he's like passing every part of the torch. So he's like, well, I've got a patient at 5 tomorrow. You're going to have to go see them. Yeah. And while you're at it, could you also please jump on my computer and write up my patient notes for me? Yeah, cheers. Thanks.
Good morning, Paul. What will your first sequence of the day be?
Computer load up, celery man, please.
Yes, Paul.
Honestly, I think one of the reasons they wanted to pass the torch is Donald Pleasance, who plays Dr. Loomis, was getting pretty old at this point.
Yeah.
And I mean, he even died pretty much while they were shooting Halloween 6. And the film is dedicated in his memory, The Curse of Michael Myers, which is probably the greatest insult of all.
Yeah. It's like, oh, such a great career and you end it there.
My favorite part of this Halloween 666 script, though, is Tommy has a VR headset in the script, and it allows him to access a Netherworld program where he sees Michael's family cursed at a Sam Hain festival for some reason that makes no sense to me.
Even you saying that, I was like, what?
It was just that 90s phenomenon of trying to put VR into everything.
Lawnmower Man.
Oh, God, not Lawnmower Man.
massive flashback. Man, I'd hate to be driving a bus right now.
Unsurprisingly to anyone who knows the history of Halloween or anyone who's watched our previous video on unmade Halloween sequels, the main producer at the time, Mustafa Akkad, hated it.
Yeah.
Which is a running trend. He just seems to hate a lot of scripts that are pitched. So he canned that and instead picked the script that was made, which is not a testament to his ability to pick scripts.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, the one that is made makes no sense at all.
No.
It's such a confusing movie. For something that should be a simple slasher.
Which is probably why they chose to ignore 4, 5, and 6 when they started on Halloween H2O, which was the 20th anniversary of Halloween. So, Halloween H2O picks up straight after Halloween 2, in that Michael is allegedly dead, Donald Pleasance's Dr. Loomis is allegedly dead, and we are now following Jamie Lee Curtis once again. And she's now the headmistress of a private school. She's changed her name. She's tried to move on with her life, but of course, Michael comes back.
Yeah.
And Halloween H2O feeds directly into Resurrection. Much like Halloween 4 and 5, they're kind of a duo as well. What are your thoughts on these films, Nate?
Oh, H2O. I liked H2O when it came out. I remember I watched it about a year ago and I find it very slow for what it is. But then the fact that it then leads into Resurrection and spoilers, they kill Laurie at the start because I think Jamie Lee Curtis is like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Scream Queens is taking you back to horror. How do you feel about going back after Halloween Resurrection?
Well, Halloween Resurrection was a joke.
H2O I think was good. Resurrection was just... Oh, they tried to do like a haunted house found footage thing and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, / online reality TV show, because that's the whole premise of the movie, is that they're doing this reality TV show in the old Myers house. And I guess it was trying to cash in on Big Brother and other similar shows at the time. But yeah, it was awful. I can't stand Resurrection, to be honest. But H2O was all right. It's very Scream-inspired, not in that it was being meta about horror films, but more that the cast and tone of the characters reminded me of Scream. But H2O had some interesting ideas in it. Resurrection, on the other hand, only had one good bit in the whole film.
Okay, what's that?
And I think you know what it is, because I love to insert it whenever and wherever I can.
The Kung Fu fight.
Wanna fuck with me? Huh? Fucker?
That being said, there was an unmade script floating around at the time of Halloween H2O and Resurrection. And this was actually a Freddy vs. Jason inspired script that would have Michael fighting Pinhead.
What?
I am the way.
So allegedly Clive Barker, who created Pinhead and directed Hellraiser, the film which introduced us to the character, was going to write the screenplay for this monster mashup.
How would that work, but Michael's just dude with a kitchen knife.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a big issue, of course, but maybe you'll excuse that when you find out the amazing John Carpenter, who directed Halloween 1, was supposedly going to direct this film.
What? So it's written by Clive Barker, directed by John Carpenter. That would have been sick.
And to make the trifecta, Mustafa Akkad hated it, the producer.
Yeah, of course. So it would have been great.
So it was immediately cancelled. But this idea was actually pitched more than once. So it was pitched again at another point, and this wasn't the one that was going to be written by Clive Barker. But one of the ideas that was tossed around was about a character, get this, called Sam Hain.
What?
Like Sam Hain, Halloween.
Oh, God. Wow.
Sam Hain was the Lord of the Dead who escapes hell and possesses a young boy. Who is that young boy?
Oh, God. So they've done like a Jason Goes to Hell thing again.
Yep.
It's not just a killer, it's a demon.
Yeah. So poor young Michael Myers is possessed by Sam Hain. And then years later, Pinhead shows up after someone solves the Lament configuration puzzle box that, always summons him and his Cenobite followers.
Yeah.
And Pinhead realizes, there's this demon that's like free of hell. And it's about him trying to get that demon out of Michael and back to hell. And of course, the two fight.
Yeah, but it still wouldn't be much of a fight, would it?
No, not at all, because
It's
it's like
wrapped up in chains and stuff. Pinhead's like, come on, idiot, back in the box.
yeah, it would literally last all of a minute.
Yeah, because it's not like Michael Myers has done anything supernatural or crazy up until then, or other than survive being shot like 100 times and blown up. But you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't had any mystical powers.
No, and like we well know, he can be hurt by a Kung Fu Buster rhymes.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
But after Resurrection, the Halloween series kind of died for a while, and probably rightfully so, because it did start to feel quite tired. There wasn't much that they could do anymore with the series if it was going to maintain its setting in Haddonfield. Like we said in the last video, it pretty much just feels the same every time a movie takes place there. That same kind of like middle American tone.
Yeah, yeah.
So what they decided to do was a complete rehaul, and that's where we get to the Rob Zombie films. So they hired Rob Zombie to kind of reimagine Halloween, and they started again. And he did too. He did Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. What are your thoughts on the zombie films?
The people in it, I hate the people. Like, the start of the first zombie film is just gross, the way the family all interacts and stuff like that. Thing is, I like the way he did Michael Myers, as like this big, hulking, strong, like he's believable as he's just going to take people out sort of thing. But the thing is, it's a Rob Zombie film. Like, he always writes, well, to put it in any other term, a trash character. They're always gross sort of people, so you don't feel sympathetic towards them.
Maybe I'll choke the chicken, purge my snorkel all over them flappy ass tits.
Good, we'll have a good fucking time.
I will.
I hope she likes cripples.
Bitch, I will crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you.
Oh, I'll get the crutches for you.
Yeah, look, sometimes I don't mind Rob Zombie's characters, but in this one, it feels kind of cheap, if I'm being honest, and a little bit cliche. Like, it falls prey to that trope of making everyone who is poor a horrible, alcoholic, abusive deadbeat. Like, Michael's mum is kind of okay, but she's a stripper, which is just another kind of tick in the trope box. What made Michael so scary in the original is there was no logical explanation for his behaviour. He was a middle-class child from a middle-class family who should have had everything, but instead he became a killer.
He was my patient for 15 years. It became an obsession with me until I realized that there was nothing within him, neither conscience nor reason, that wasn't even remotely human.
There's some parts I like about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. It's interesting how surreal it gets in parts, almost to the level of Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me by David Lynch. But yeah, I don't know if it works.
It doesn't work with Halloween. I like that he had Mike Myers walk around as just like basically a giant hobo. Like, he's walking around the streets and stuff at Halloween. The kids run into him there.
Are you a giant?
But the studio was keen to make a third. Rob Zombie, not so much. So they actually went ahead with a third Halloween film, a new Halloween 3 called Halloween 3D, that was meant to be made by the guys who did My Bloody Valentine 3D.
They were due for a 3D one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I like My Bloody Valentine 3D, that remake of My Bloody Valentine. Like, I remember seeing it in cinema and going, this is awesome. But then I've watched it again since, and I'm like, this is okay.
Yeah, it is kind of tedious without the 3D.
It's like I'm really there.
Yeah, it truly is one of those films that works mostly because of the 3D. It's pretty boring and mundane otherwise. And to be honest, the script for Halloween 3D is pretty much very similar. So time was so tight on the pre-production for this script, the first draft was written in a week, and it shows. So most of the film takes place in a hospital, which is kind of like Halloween 2, back in the, the original Halloween 2, and even the first third of Rob Zombie's 2. So it's a place we've been over and over again in the Halloween series. Michael comes back, and it's all pretty predictable until they have a giant showdown at a Halloween concert. Like, it's just more of the same. It's really not that interesting.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not really introducing any new ideas. There is one detail I really like, though. The end of the first act has Michael in a really intense fire, and then he disappears. And right at the end of this movie, they actually pull the mask off Michael at one point. And it's revealed that he actually has another mask on underneath, kind of like that bucket guy. But really, it's a mask burnt to his skin from the fire at the early part of the movie.
That he can't get off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like permanently stuck, which I'm kind of like, why even wear the other one? Because that's way more terrifying, just to be walking around with the mask.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Just to do the melted mask to his face, like, yeah, that'd be awesome.
But the rush schedule for this film meant that it was just shelved after a while because the directors went on to do Drive Angry with Nicolas Cage.
Another quality film.
Again, what makes you think you have a choice? This does.
But recently, we've had another Halloween film come out, just called Halloween. Confusingly, you know, we've already got we've already got 2 Halloweens, so now we have 3 Halloweens. Great. And to make it even more confusing, they've reset the timeline again. So now Halloween is a direct sequel to Halloween, but it doesn't count Halloween 2.
Yeah.
And when I say a direct sequel to Halloween, I don't mean the Rob Zombie one. I mean the John Carpenter one.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is back again.
Yeah. Even though she's already been back again before, so she's back again.
That's the 5th movie she's been in. Technically the 2nd.
Yeah. The second. No, wait. The second she's been in.
Yeah.
I was confused where H2O sat for a moment.
Enough! Do you want my head to explode? In the name of all that is good and decent, no more for today!
So this wasn't the first time they had tried to make a Halloween movie in recent years, kind of after the Rob Zombie films. So there was a script called Halloween Returns, which was nearly filmed in 2015. And that actually had Michael on death row for his crimes in Halloween 1 and 2. So it was really Halloween 3.
Oh, okay.
So it was trying to take the place of what Season of the Witch, which did not have Michael. It was a period film. So it was set in the 80s, and Michael, of course, escapes during a freak power outage before he can be executed, and he starts a massacre in Russellville, a neighbouring town to the original Haddonfield. So it's just more of the same in general.
Okay.
It even had that same period setting. It's pretty safe when it comes to being a Halloween sequel.
Yeah, but that one wouldn't have been shot because it would have just been more difficult to set everything up to look like it was set in the 80s, early 90s, and they're like, man, that's painful. Don't do that.
Yeah, well, and I mean, even if they wanted to shoot it, the rights expired for the production house at the time, so it just never went ahead. And that's when Blumhouse swooped in so that they could make their 3rd Halloween movie being not Halloween 3, but Halloween, yeah.
Halloween. So you watch Halloween, then you watch Halloween.
Oh, God, let's be honest here. The Halloween timeline makes about as much sense as that half-finished CGI mask in Halloween H2O.
This sucks, man.